Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and welcome to Season 2. And I've got a bad case of sequelitis because this season is going to have everything the first one did, but bigger. Pokemon? You know it. Japanese games with confusing plots that I have to explain in a succinct manner? You know we got it. Games everyone and their mother have heard of? Gotta have it. And of course, more of Cawthon's confusing contraptions and creations. This week, I'm looking at the newest and neonest installment in the Five Nights at Freddy series, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, developed by Steel Wool Studios and released on December 16th, 2021. Scott Cawthon passed development over to Steel Wool Studios when it came time to make the virtual reality game Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, and with Scott's retirement, it doesn't seem like they'll be losing that control anytime soon. Help Wanted was really Steel Wool's first big game and is, in my mind, one of the best virtual reality games you can play at the moment. You get to play the original 3 games along with a host of fun, and by fun I mean terrifying mini-games. Why am I focusing so much on a game I haven't played and isn't the focus of this video? Because elements of that game become extremely important in this one. In fact, I recommend you go back and watch my other FNaF videos for a refresher course, or at least Sister Location and Pizzeria Simulator. Sometime after the events of Pizzeria Simulator, Fazbear Entertainment reached out to an independent video game development studio to make a virtual reality game based on the negative rumors surrounding the company. Yes, we're getting meta with it. That game ends up being Help Wanted, and a series of hidden cassette tapes reveal that all of the negative rumors about child death and all that were actually real, and that this was Fazbear Entertainment's way of covering it up. Also, like, one of the last tapes you get says not to collect all of the tapes because some virus is split between them, and reuniting them will also reunite the malware. Or should I say, malhair?
Did you actually think that joke was funny? That wasn't. Nobody is laughing. Here's a graph of comedy over the past 20 years. This is when you told your joke, you have single-handedly ruined comedy.
Do you think the person who hid those tapes was also like an ancient adventurer? Somehow, William Afton is living on as a sentient computer virus named Glitch Trap and infected the game. Your reward for collecting all of the tapes is Glitch Trap locking you in your own mind and taking control of your body. So he's a sentient computer virus that can also infect people. And then, in Help Wanted's Halloween DLC called The Curse of Dreadbear, a secret ending gets you a strange white bunny mask and a hidden message.
Yes, I hear you. I know. No. There's no miscommunication. I understand. Yes, I have it. I made it myself. I think you would like it. No one suspects anything. Don't worry. I'll be ready. And I won't let you down. It will be fun.
Which is presumably Help Wanted's protagonist being manipulated by the Glitch Trap virus in their brain. Oh, also, the augmented reality mobile game, Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery, has some emails about a woman named Vanessa googling some pretty strange things about forced compliance with human subjects, which wouldn't have been thought to be too important if Funko didn't reveal 2 important character names over a year before the game's release. To be fair to them, the game was originally scheduled to be released in 2020, with the initial teaser image popping up in August of 2019. News of the game was practically non-existent for a long time, aside from being featured in Sony's PlayStation 5 showcase trailer and, like, great for Scott. A few brief trailers and a few more delays later brings us to September 2021, when Steel Wool Studios launched Security Breach TV, a website that would broadcast new episodes of a show called Freddy and Friends on Tour every other week. Each episode featured a distorted frame that showed off one of the characters along with a hidden code, and the end screen had a jumbled number sequence that slowly revealed the release date. The release date came, and Steel Wool announced that the game would be coming out at 9 p.m. as opposed to the standard midnight release. This was done to allow Steel Wool to release the day 1 patch before the actual game came out, which was a smart move. However, it's unclear how effective it was, since at the time of writing this, the game is still filled with bugs. I don't know how bad the PC version is since I played on PlayStation 5, but there are some serious issues. The large ones have been patched out, like the one that prevented players from actually being able to get one of the most important endings, though a section of the environment still breaks the whole game. With some more patches coming and some hopefully free DLC down the line, this game may require a revisit down the line, but nevertheless, let's give it everything we've got! The game opens with a rocking intro heavily overdosing on the 80s that introduces all of the characters, essentially doing my job for me, but I'm not gonna let that stop me. Let's get it on! The Blaze Bailey to Bonnie's Bruce Dickinson, who embodies the rock and roll lifestyle of trashing random shit for no reason like he was Ronnie Van Zant literally anywhere, Montgomery Gator! The Dave Grohl to Foxy's Chad Canning, but never mind that, she's the rock-hard rock star of the band, absolutely shredding that keytar to create hot jams that are the second hottest thing in this game behind her design, but I am not attracted to this wolf, and I am not a furry, I am not Roxanne Wolf! The final stage in the yassification of Chica with an unhealthy obsession with food, but she's a robot, so it's okay, I guess, and I will now be crucified for saying yassification, but how else would you put it? Glam Rock Chica! And the leading frontman of the band, who is finally the most important animatronic in his own game. It only took 7 years, but now he's reached peak dad status, Freddy Fazbear! Technically, he's Glam Rock Freddy, but he's never referred to as such. He's also glitched the f*** out Freddy, putting an abrupt end to their show and an abrupt start to this game.
Shh! Will you shut up?
Who said that?
I did! And down here.
Down where? I still do not see you.
Okay, listen. You were sleeping, so I opened the stomach hatch and climbed inside.
My stomach hatch? That place is reserved for oversized birthday cakes and piñatas. It is not a safe play area.
I know some people weren't too big a fan on how this game starts since we're given no setup to Gregory. We have no idea who he is, why he's here, or how he ended up inside Freddy. But when you think about it, all the FNaF protagonists are like that. And I'm sure they'll give us this information later, right? Nah, I'm just fucking around. Five Nights at Freddy's barely ever gives us shit. They hide it inside 8-bit minigames spread across 3 different non-consecutive games. Another thing we're given no explanation for is why Gregory is afraid of the security guard Vanessa. We know that Vanessa is most likely the protagonist from Help Wanted and the one googling fetishes on Main in Special Delivery, but for all Gregory knows, she's just a woman trying to do her job by helping a lost kid. Anyway, Gregory receives a Faz watch from Freddy that is capable of receiving digital messages, showcasing the map of the Freddy Fazbear's mega Pizzaplex in which they currently find themselves, and access to said megaplex's security camera system. And those digital messages I mentioned earlier aren't just so Freddy can communicate to Gregory when they're apart. It allows Gregory to collect duffel bags that the 80s called to have returned to them, which gives him data in the form of more digital messages. And you know what that means.
The lore, guys, the lore! The lore!
In order to evade Vanessa, Gregory climbs through the vent behind Freddy's green room and sees some pretty sus activity.
Congratulations! You've literally created the worst joke in human history. Here's a medal.
Your performance was perfect tonight. Thank you. Your hair is beautiful. Your tail is beautiful. Everyone was watching you. Everyone loves you. Everyone wants to be you. You are the best. Thank you. I am the best. I am the best.
Also, Monty is trashing his room, but you don't get to see any of it. Gregory retrieves a photo pass just sitting in a gift box with an adorable drawing of Roxy, and I am not attracted to this wolf! The photo pass allows Gregory to unlock the door to Freddy's room and climb inside of him so he can move around the Pizzaplex undetected and trek through the utility tunnels to get Gregory to the entrance before midnight. Hopefully that battery doesn't become a problem.
I am terribly sorry.
The battery has become a problem. Well, Gregory's almost there. I'm sure he'll be fine.
It's Chica.
Okay, this is our introduction to 2 of the game's main mechanics, one of which you will use a lot, the other you will almost never use. There will be piles of cans or plates scattered throughout the map that Gregory can knock over to lure the animatronics to that location. He can also crouch to have a lower chance of being detected. In case it wasn't obvious, you'll rarely ever use distractions. You get much better ways of dealing with these raging robots later. Well, that was a pretty uneventful encounter. It should be clear blue skies and—
There you are!
Freddy really can't leave you alone for 5 minutes, can he? Also, screw Steel Wolf for automatically turning Gregory around when Monty shows up, but not doing the same when Chica shows up. I know some people desperately want to run into Chica's waiting arms, but I am not one of them. Gregory runs into a security office where he gets access to the camera system, allowing him to sneak away from Chica, but not before getting a collectible. I think this game has like 80 something collectibles, and I think they're supposed to have descriptions, but they, don't. Like, you can collect a Fizzy Faz soda with each character on it, and the arrow indicates that it increases something, but I have no idea what. It's either how fast Gregory runs, or how much stamina he has, or both, but it would be nice if the game could tell me. Regardless, Gregory makes it to the entrance just in time for the security gates to close, and they won't be open until 6 AM. What, you thought we were gonna have a Five Nights at Freddy's game that doesn't go from 12 to 6? Freddy tells Gregory to keep moving and find another exit, but my strategy would just be to hide in one of those restaurants for 6 hours. See that minimalist robot cleaning the floor at a lower frame rate than the rest of the game? Fuck him. He is one of two, technically there's three, but two staff bots, and I'm pretty sure it's never revealed what staff stands for, though my guess is security team at Freddy Fazbear's. Anyway, they aren't scary and can't kill you. All they will do is alert nearby animatronics that you're near them. This wouldn't be a problem if the animatronics ran from their location to the staff bot, but they don't. They teleport right behind you. And of all the issues this game has, the animatronic AI is by far the worst. When they aren't teleporting behind you, they have the most inconsistent AI known to man. Climb into a hiding spot with a high-class weapon hot on your tracks and they'll completely forget they ever saw you. Hop into a hiding spot when they don't even know you're nearby and they'll happen to check that exact hiding spot for no reason. It's not all bad though. I like how the animatronics say reassuring lines instead of threatening ones. It makes them more uncanny since their actions betray their words.
Our friendly security staff can help.
Hey, kid, come on out. We're only trying to help.
I bet you don't even have friends.
Okay, except for Roxy. She's just a savage.
I bet I'm your favorite.
You know, even after insulting me, you still are. On the subject of Roxy, I like how she doesn't just run at you and kill you like Chica. Instead, she'll stop and pounce. I wish there were more minor differences in their mannerisms like that, but I guess it's another thing sacrificed for scope. Was it worth it? We'll see. Gregory finds an entry pass to get into the entrance of the Pizzaplex, though he needs to find an upgrade station if he wants to access the main atrium. And honestly, charging extra to get from the entrance into the actual main mall is the most realistic thing this no doubt tourist attraction does. But hey, at least the entrance pass comes with a free gift from the gift shop.
It's a crappy Mr. Hippo fridge magnet? Lame.
I am sorry, Gregory. I am truly sorry.
Hey, Mr. Hippo is the best!
I'm the best!
You're tied, okay? The magnet actually has a use, as the entry pass gets stuck in the upgrade machine, and Gregory uses the power of long-winded nonsensical tales to hack the machine and get his ticket back, though now it's a daycare pass. Oh yeah, now this is a good time.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Sun rises Gregory out of the ball pit and talks about a sleepover, and honestly, this doesn't seem like a bad place to chill for a few hours as long as you keep the lights on. But Gregory activates the Sun's OCD, weird sentence, and uses the distraction to retrieve a flashlight and a security pass.
No! Why would you do that? Lights on! Lights on! I warned you! I warned you! Naughty boy. Naughty boy. It's past your bedtime. You must be punished. Nighty-night.
Welcome to one of the scariest parts of the game. Gregory has to climb through the jungle gym that would be fun as to run around in as a child to find 5 generators that are, for some reason, stored inside the jungle gyms, all while Moon prances around the place looking for him. And the flashlight has a battery comparable to the FNaF 1 building with both doors closed, so it has to be used sporadically. Though there are flashlight battery upgrades hidden in some of the prize boxes, including one inside this daycare, which is the only missable prize box in the game to my knowledge. knowledge, as Sun bans you from the Mickey Mouse Club after you restore the power. Also, I've seen people refer to these two as Sunrise or Sundrop and Moondrop, and I have no idea why. There are posters advertising Sunny Drop and Moondrop candy, but their subtitles clearly show their names are just Sun and Moon. That's what the credits say too! Sun's signal summons all four of the animatronics, and Gregory has to quickly hide inside Freddy to evade capture because these villains apparently have no object permanence. At least we're out of the daycare and never have to deal with that lunar lunatic again.
We are almost out of time. We need to get to a recharge station immediately.
I really just need to stop talking. At the start of every hour, the lights will shut off and Moon will be free to walk around, aka he'll teleport near you. So Gregory has to climb into one of Freddy's recharge stations of freedom and peace. Hello, Vanny.
What was that?
That is a fountain. A fountain is a decorative reservoir used for discharging water.
Not the fountain. You didn't see the dancing rabbit lady right in front of us?
No, I did not. There is no rabbit at the Mega Pizzaplex. Not anymore.
And no, it's never explained why Freddy can't see her, and last I checked, John Cena's hips do lie, so it can't be him. This game falls into the FNaF 4 pit of leaving way too many questions unanswered, but there's always DLC, I guess. With the security badge secured and no more Moon to get in their way, Gregory heads into the elevator to the main atrium, where Freddy reveals two possible exits, one in the loading dock and one in the prize counter. But first, Gregory needs a map.
Hi. Please take this map. Take a map.
Good old MapBot, one of the best and worst parts of this game. Welcome to the main atrium, where we really get to see how impressive the setting and scope of this game is. A monumental step up from every previous installment and incredibly impressive for such a small independent studio to produce. For all the faults with the gameplay, there is not a single thing wrong with this setting. Every corner is polished, detailed, and packed with references, Easter eggs, and flourishes that really make it stand out. I hope they can patch the gameplay to be on this level one day. Freddy's revelation of the two possible exits provides us with our first branch in the story, as you have to choose which one you want to do. I went with the loading dock as the prize counter breaks my fucking game. And all we have to do to get there is crawl through these ominous vents. Nothing bad ever happens in vents.
A dead body was found in this vent once.
I'm sure we'll be fine. What can even fit down here? Oh, a mini Music Man. Of course. Music Man was introduced in Pizzeria Simulator and later reappeared in Ultimate Custom Night, though he was never very important. Once out of the vents, Gregory has to locate the loading dock.
Why are you walking like that?
Chica wants a bite of Gregory's face, though she'll take pizza as a suitable replacement, which Gregory takes full advantage of when he temporarily gains control of the pizza bot upon entering the next security office.
To ensure a safe and timely delivery, our cutting-edge pizza tracker allows you to deliver the pizza to your own home or residence. Additional mileage charges may apply. With Chica distracted, Gregory is free to make a break for the loading dock, which, of course, won't allow him to escape. Well, at least Chica is distracted, so Gregory should have no problem returning to Freddy. Oh, right. Teleporting mascots. This section is really where you first see how annoying the staff bots are going to be, as there are a scientifically measured fuckload of them in these small rooms, not to mention that the intended exit is really hard to see on any of the cameras or hiding spots.
Take a map. Take a map. Take a map.
Out of my way.
Oh no! The hot security guard is doing her job! Sounds like a manga title. Anyway, if you decide to go to the prize counter, you will instead have to deal with Roxy and Monty, play a very stressful FNaF 1-esque minigame, and then Vanessa jump scares you as you try to enter the elevator.
So, you are going to wait right there in Lost and Found until your parents or the police arrive.
Are you having fun yet?
I didn't know Vanessa had those Wonder Woman changing powers. Well, Gregory doesn't want to die Anna, so he grabs a conveniently placed screwdriver to escape through a vent. Aw man, if Vanny catches him now, he'll surely pay the price.
What's the matter with you? That sucks! Do you realize how lame that joke is?
Gregory receives an SOS message from Freddy asking him to find him near Roxy Raceway, where he says he missed his hourly recharge and needs to get to parts and service below the main stage. In order to assist in this, Gregory must evade Roxy and annoyingly placed staff bots on his way to retrieving a backstage pass so that he can access the lift controls. In the backstage office, he receives another security upgrade and a performance disc, which somehow fixes Freddy's signal and gives him a second wind. Just in time too, as Roxy, Monty, and Vanny are all trying to get to Gregory at the moment. And I may as well just roll the clip.
Gregory, do you see that small vent on the floor? Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory? You need to vent. I know it will be hard for you to be sus, but I know you can do it, Gregory. I will just say we were both in security watching the cameras. It is partly true. Lamau GGS easy.
This minigame feels like it should be more stressful than it is, as you have to watch Roxy and Monty on the monitors and shock them when they start banging on one of the doors, all while finding Freddy on the other monitors to unlock doors on his path to reach you. And it's timed, yet that stress factor just isn't there. Back in the atrium with performance disc in hand, Gregory has to go from the bottom of the first floor to the top of the third on the total opposite side, all while evading Roxy, Monty, Chica, and staff bots in the only ending unrelated part of the game where all three animatronics are after you at the same time. And then Vanny decides to swing into action after Gregory uses the performance disc as if there wasn't enough going on. But don't get used to seeing Vanny, as there is a very high chance this is the last time a player sees her until the end. I'll go over that more in a bit. For now, Gregory returns to Freddy and the two descend down to parts and service as the hour switches over to 3. But Freddy's too beat up to get in the recharge station in time, so Moon captures him, for some reason, and drags him into parts and service? Wow, thanks Moon, that's what I was trying to do anyway. However, Gregory doesn't have high enough security clearance to access parts and service, so he has to find another security card. Cue one of the best parts of the game. Oh god, okay, now cue one of the best parts of the game. We've got some weeping endoskeletons in the house! Or, I guess, in the mall. They will only move when you're not looking at them, and couple that with a series of long, dark, and narrow hallways, and you have what is easily one of the scariest parts of the game.
Got it! I can open parts and service now! Oh, come on!
Gregory must have balls of fucking vibranium, because if I was in that scenario, my reaction would be a lot more severe than, oh come on! Gregory returns to parts and service to see Vanessa having a not so pleasant conversation with Freddy. She says that there's no record of Gregory, so he can't be returned to his parents.
If you're part of this, you're scrap. Monty will run the shows until parts and service can slap your casing on a new endo. Hang out here for a while. I gotta find that kid.
And while that does sound harsh, it's still not anything outside of Vanessa doing her job. If a robot programmed to retrieve lost children and take them to a security guard was, instead, actively hiding said kid from security, it would be a massive programming issue that would need to be worked out. Anyway, once reunited with Freddy, it's up to Gregory to fix him. All he has to do to fix Freddy is play a basic game of Simon, and, like, is that why so many people became engineers? And it's at this moment I would like to point out the incredible voice acting talent of Kellen Goff and Andy Field.
I'm functioning much more better now. Grammar function error. Perhaps I am still not at peak performance. Could you, reattach my head?
In case of an emergency, the protective cylinder will protect important service personnel outside of the protective cylinder. Deactivating animatronic safety protocols now. It is recommended that no mistakes are made during the procedure.
Both of these men have been around since Sister Location, when the Five Nights at Freddy's games first started to have voice acting outside of Scott Cawthon alone, and they have consistently delivered. Kellen has provided the voice of Funtime Freddy / Molten Freddy in Sister Location and Pizzeria Simulator, and this time around provides the voice of Freddy, Sun, and Moon, whereas Andy Field has pretty much had the same role as the artificial intelligence assistant, and manages to add so much humor and comedic timing to the lines without making them sound any less robotic. But really, all of the voice cast does incredible jobs. Like, Roxy and Gregory are voiced by the same person. That's just incredible. He asks Freddy if there's any way to stop Chica, Monty, and Roxy, and Freddy says they are temporarily stunned by bright lights in their eyes. I feel like that's not a robot exclusive thing, so his best bet is a Phaser Blaster from Phaser Blast or a Fazcam from Monty Golf. However, he'll need a party pass from Chica's green room first. Before they leave, Gregory sees that the 3 rogue bots have recently received upgrades that he wants to give Freddy. Chica was given a voice box that accidentally stuns nearby animatronics and equipment, Monty was given new claws that accidentally allow him to break through fences, and Roxy was given better eyes that accidentally allow her to see through walls. Wait, Roxy can see through walls? No, she fucking can't! On the subject of Roxy, her green room elevator is the only one that's working, so our furriest duo have no choice but to ascend to her green room.
I'm not a loser. Who's there? If Freddy, get out of my room!
I told you there was another reason Roxy was my favorite. She is by far the most interesting one. She's the only one to show conflicting emotions over what she's doing. Like, one side of her wants to hunt Gregory down and kill him, while the other half doesn't. Plus, she is programmed to be an excellent race car driver, yet constantly lose to bitch-ass kids, and her room is filled with trophies that she didn't win because she always has to lose. So you begin to understand how she began to feel the constant need to remind herself of her worth. Along with Freddy, she is a key representative in showing that these animatronics are way more human than you'd expect, even if Chica and Monty don't really show it. Speaking of Chica and Monty, that's where our attention goes next, as the retrieval of the party pass brings us to the second and final fork in the road. Gregory can either use the party pass at Phaser Blast to get a Phaser Blaster, or use it at Monty Golf to get the Fazcam, but he can only choose one. I chose Phaser Blast because laser tag is much better than mini golf, though mini golf is still yards ahead of regular golf. Oh, also it's 4 AM now because these hours are not at all consistent. Regardless of which path you choose, 4 AM is the best hour in the game, though Phaser Blast is definitely the superior choice. You get to actually play 3 rounds of capture the flag laser tag against staff bots and Chica inside an incredibly designed neon maze, and your reward for winning is a golden Phaser Blaster that can be used to stun an animatronic briefly. The settings for this game include a reticle that you can turn on, and I highly suggest you do that as it makes aiming the blaster so much easier. Upon exiting the arena, Gregory gets another security card upgrade and a pass to get into Bonnie Bowl, where a digital message he retrieved earlier says something called Monty's Mystery Mix is stored, which Chica has an unhealthy obsession with. And with that, we're off to Bonnie Bowl!
I do not come up here anymore. I miss him.
There are several messages about the total removal of Bonnie from the mall, like Fazbear Entertainment was half of Americans today trying to pretend the past didn't happen instead of learning from it, and while they never provide a specific answer, it's safe to assume the whole serial murderer who plagued our company for decades dressed as our robot mascot thing was a heavy factor. Speaking of heavy factors, right next to the Monty Mystery Mix is a note saying that Chica will sustain heavy damage if she's caught in the kitchen's trash compactor, so people should absolutely not throw Monty Mystery Mix in there. So Gregory immediately returns to the pizza bot kitchen from earlier and yeets the Monty Mix in there.
I smell pizza! Oh no!
Before we continue, I want to go back to the start of that cutscene real quick. You see how dirty and damaged Chica looks already? This has been happening to all 4 of the animatronics, and yet it's another thing that is never explained. How do they all get so damaged in just a few short hours by just walking around? Also, Gregory's a beast. Down here in the sewers, every horror game's gotta have it, is what I believe to be the scariest section of the game, and it's entirely missable. See, you're a damn fool if you think Chica's out of commission now, as all Gregory succeeded in doing was graduate her to terrifying, as her upbeat voice lines are replaced with digital nightmare screeches. Putting aside the fact that Gregory should have no idea that he has to turn on 3 generators, being trapped in these tight, pitch black tunnels with a killer robot that lost the only thing that gave it some semblance of being human and kind is incredibly tense, especially the second generator, as you're in even tighter tunnels and her screeches echo throughout them so you feel like she's always right behind you. Things get a bit worse though with the arrival of weird Dementor staff bots that are scary for like 5 seconds until you realize that they still don't kill you and are no different from the regular ones. Turning on the 3rd generator allows Gregory to escape the sewers, but not before being chased by Vanny in legit her last appearance before the ending, and again it's entirely missable. Gregory runs into the staff bot silo, which shows that colorful areas can be just as creepy as dark areas in this game. The silo leads Gregory back to the area where he was jumped by Vanessa earlier, though now that path is Vanessa free, and Gregory is free to use the elevator to return to the main atrium and go back to parts and service, where he fits Freddy with Chica's voice box, distorting his voice a bit and giving him the ability to scream animatronics away and open specific gates. If you go down the Monty Golf path, the terror of the sewers is replaced with the frustration of impossible puzzles. Whereas Chica's problem was wandering into the trash compactor and eating mystery mix, Monty's problem is hanging out in the catwalks above Monty Golf, which he once fell from and broke both of his legs. Upon retrieving the Fazcam, a one-use screen nuke that stuns all animatronics in the vicinity, Gregory also gets a pass for Chica's mazer size, which has the only vent to get to the aforementioned catwalks. However, the mazer size puzzle is legal torture, and the only clue to solve it, hidden in the depths of the Fazbear theater attached to the daycare, is a fucking lie! Luckily, the solution isn't randomized, so Google is your friend. Once back inside Monty Golf, it's boss fight time!
Rock and roll!
This fight should be tense and terrifying, however it's tense and hilarious due to Monty being glitched out, so he'll say, "Hey, little guy," every 10 seconds and nothing else.
Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy.
The key to this fight is to shoot balls into the target above the large bucket until you fill it up, but Monty will constantly be looking for you, so you have to stay moving. Also, he can jump up on the ride circling above you and drop down anywhere, including on your fucking head. Luckily that won't kill you, but it's still frustrating. But at least there's some catharsis at the end. While Chica's path is the better one to go down experience-wise, Monty's is the better to go down as it stands right now, as broken Monty's AI is just as broken as he is. He'll still appear in the areas he'd be in if he wasn't broken, but he won't chase after or kill you. He'll just lay there, and removing 1/3 of the threats in this game is no small feat. Giving Freddy Monty's claws won't give him any way of disrupting the animatronics, though it will allow him to open other paths that Chica's voice box can't. And now it's 5 AM. The worst hour in the game. Why is it the worst? Because it's all about destroying Roxy.
You're a simp! You're a simp! Goofy ass!
Regardless of what upgrade Freddy gets, he will be able to access Roxy Raceway and the nearby Glamrock Beauty Salon with the cutest goddamn photo of Roxy, and I am not attracted to this wolf!
This needs to stop. Now.
That place will be important later, but the raceway proper is the main objective, as Gregory learns that Roxy's problem is jumping in front of carts on the track. However, he's too short to ride a cart alone, which is realistic and hilarious. So he has to repair the driver assist bot, which seems to have gotten too ahead of itself. Yeah, I deserve that one. But of course, there's like 80 more steps before we can actually use this head, as Gregory has to repair it first, and the only repair station is in the West Arcade, which Gregory will need a dance pass to access. The dance pass is, mercifully, located in one of the nearby garages, though there is no mercy in the West Arcade, only DJ Music Man, who has no right to be that big. Pause. Upon entering the West Arcade security room, the system will lock Gregory out, so he has to reset all of the breakers. And the system is another word for DJ Music Man, because he's fucking gone now and will be spider crawling on the walls like he's trying to join Tom, Toby, and Andrew. I'm just surprised it took this long for one of the games to feature a supersized animatronic, especially with how terrifying he is. Sadly, he isn't much of a factor for the rest of the breakers, as that role is taken by Monty, Chica, and the 1000 staff bots unnecessarily patrolling the same area. This is why destroying Monty is the way to go if you want an easier time, as it removes him from the equation completely in this area, which is undoubtedly the hardest area in the game. The final breaker is at the back of a long, straight hallway filled with arcade cabinets to get in your way, and whenever there's one of those, you already know what you're in for. Music Monster chases Gregory into the security room where he can finally fix the driver assist head so he can return to Roxy Raceway and put it on the robot. I didn't edit that at all, by the way. This game just knows that Gregory is a savage garden. Gregory yanks out Roxy's eyes, but she can still speak that evil, and, what was the other one?
I can still hear you.
Oh, that's right, here! While other sections in this game have been scarier, this one is my favorite overall. And yes, it's because we get up close and personal with Roxy.
You need to stop everything.
But no, not like that. I am not attracted to this wolf. How many times do I have to say it? The reason Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was my favorite of the original games in the series was because of how personal it felt. It was just you and Springtrap all night. And Sister Location did a good job recreating that feeling with the character-specific sections like Ballora Gallery, Parts and Service, and Funtime Auditorium. But having a personal experience where you're trapped with a rampaging Robo Rockstar in a fleshed out 3D environment where you can constantly see and hear them, and having to use them to escape is amazing, effective, and memorable. My one complaint is that the I can still hear you thing is a fat crock of shit because her AI doesn't change one bit. Yeah, she'll start doing animations where she's pausing to listen, but she'll still see you and find where you are if you're standing completely still. Upon escaping Roxy and upgrading Freddy in Parts and Service, it is now 6 AM, really making you wonder what the point was of upgrading Freddy. And now, the worst part of the game arrives. The two of them reach the exit where Gregory is given a choice. He can leave, but learn nothing about Vanny or the disappearances surrounding the Pizzaplex. He can stay in the Pizzaplex to uncover the remaining secrets and figure out the larger mystery, or he can go after Vanny if he went into Phaser Blast as he goes past her hideout above the maze. Leaving results in the 1-star bad ending where we find out that Gregory is homeless, and the pictures of the missing kids really make it seem like he was one of them, and then Vanny just rolls up and presumably kills him. And choosing to stay results in a world of hurt and misery as you are no longer allowed to save the game. So you have to go through the forks in the path you didn't choose and collect all of the collectibles in one flawless attempt. Luckily, there's a bug where you can collect another driver assist bot head in Roxy Raceway that will set the clock back to 5:15. Gregory will still be able to walk around and leave like it was 6, but now you'll be able to save the game. There are 3 2-star endings you can get here that are unrelated to the Vanny option. One of them is a result of leaving through the loading dock from earlier, and in this one, Freddy and Gregory steal a van and mow down a map bot, all while a Roxy bobblehead bops to the music. Obviously, this is the best ending as Gregory gets to keep Freddy and gets a complimentary Roxy bobblehead to go with the 80 other pieces of merch he gathered. The next is a result of leaving through the fire escape from the prize counter, and it's the most confusing one. Freddy sets fire to the place and then fucking spears Vanny off the roof. Gregory runs down and unmasks Vanny, and wouldn't you know it, it's Vanessa! But then Vanessa is on the roof? So either Vanessa has a clone or there's some twin magic shenanigans going on. And if this was any other series, you'd get the answer to that question. The third one is the one people are saying is the canon ending, though I don't know if there's any actual proof of that. See, in Roxy Raceway, there are several messages about the non-existent structural integrity of the raceway and that they've noticed a large amount of power being sapped below the foundation. So a group of people bore down there to see what was going on. With both the Chica and Monty upgrades, Freddy can access the service elevator that the team used to access the cave down below, home to a massive Freddy head, thus implying that there was a massive Freddy at some point for no understandable reason. Also, this? Eagle-eyed players and elephant memorizing players were able to notice that the logo on this place bears a strong resemblance to the exterior shown in the true ending of Pizzeria Simulator, so it's entirely possible that the mega Pizzaplex was built on top of the burnt remains of that place. I mean, it doesn't entirely explain this inhuman H.R. Geiger fever dream of tentacle wires and robot pieces from all previous games. Shout out to Dark Taurus for showing an in-depth 3D view of this monstrosity so I can show you all of the pieces that comprise it. Huh, but that's not all. Don't call it a comeback! It's the return of the trap. Yet another thing that lends credence to this being the same place from Pizzeria Simulator. So William Afton is somehow living on as a sentient computer virus that can infect people, yet also his body is still somehow living on as this amalgamation of burnt and skewered body parts and ripped up robo-bits with the power to infect technology with his touch. God, I really miss the days when he was just a dude in a suit. In this boss fight, Gregory will have to watch the monitors and then press the corresponding button to burn Afton before he can fully infect Freddy.
I'm really fucking trying, Gregory, but William Afton's installed Bonzi money into my hard drive.
All while Chica, Roxy, and Monty are thrown his way. And then the demonic evolution of Molten Freddy joins the fray before snatching up Afton, allowing Gregory and Freddy to run away. And honestly, after all this time, that's the least convinced I've ever been that Afton is dead. And now the endings from choosing the Vanny option. The normal 2-star ending from this path occurs after Freddy gets yeeted off a bridge and jumped by a gang of staff bots after Vanny tells him to disassemble Freddy. Gregory runs up to Vanny's office where she is, for some reason, not anymore. He picks up her controller and orders the bots to disassemble Vanny, then watches as she's pulled limb from limb because he's a savage starlight. And then Freddy fucking dies. This final ending is the one I choose to believe is the true ending until proven otherwise because it's the most complicated to get and it's the only 3-star one. All throughout the game there are messages about a trinity of arcade games called Princess Quest, a callback to the mobile port of Help Wanted where the glitched cassette tapes were replaced with Princess Quest. Princess Quest 1 is hidden inside the glam rock beauty salon with all its beautiful Roxy art. God, she's so sick!
Cringe. There's no other word for it. This makes me cringe. It's embarrassing.
And features a pixelated Princess of Light illuminating a series of torches all while evading Shadow Rabbits before confronting and being consumed by the Shadow Rabbit Lord. Princess Quest 2 is hidden at the end of the corridor Music Man Chase You Down and features our luminary legislative being given a sword to chop a bitch, ending in a vaguely FNaF 1-esque security room. Princess Quest 3 is hidden in Vanny's hideout, so you have to enact the Vanny ending and then play the game instead of pressing the disassemble button. In this one, our Knight of the Light table explores a Freddy Fazbear's location to retrieve a glitch trap plushie, which appeared in Help Wanted after obtaining the glitch trap ending, and evading Grim Foxy in a maze to retrieve the same exact bunny mask from Help Wanted. And in Help Wanted, you obtain that mask in a maze that Grim Foxy's hunting you down in. Those two items unlock a chest with a key.
Jeez, you open up a locked treasure chest to get a key. Isn't that ass backwards?
She uses the key to open the stage, open another door that represents the door you were trapped behind at the end of Help Wanted, there's a scream, and that's it. All the staff bots are disabled, Vanny's shed her costume, and Gregory is greeted at the entrance by Vanessa, the two of them enjoying some ice cream on a hill with Freddy's severed head. Confused? I don't blame you! As I said earlier, Princess Quest replaced the cassette tapes in the mobile port of Help Wanted. So, like the cassette tapes, Princess Quest represents Glitchtrap's takeover. So those arcade cabinets were how Afton/Glitchtrap was infecting the Pizzaplex, its animatronics, and Vanny. By completing the 3 games, Gregory fought off the influence, freeing the robots and Vanny from his grasp. I have specifically been referring to Vanny as Vanny and not Vanessa, since that ending earlier leaves it up in the air as to whether or not Vanessa is Vanny, or if there's another person who looks exactly like Vanessa running around in a bunny suit. And with that, we're all caught up. Oh boy. Where do I even begin? I love everything this game set out to be and everything Steel Wool wanted it to be. Their passion, dedication, and love of this franchise is evident with just how much is packed into every aspect of the design. The Mega Pizzaplex is one of my favorite locations in gaming as it's unlike anything I've seen before. Yeah, games have had malls, but never have they felt this fun to explore or as filled with content. And I didn't even talk about all of it. I didn't mention the 16 retro CDs hidden throughout the mall at 6 AM that are recorded therapy sessions interactions with Vanessa, nor did I mention that secret room they're played in, which is the exact room from Sister Location, or the room behind the poster, and countless other hidden details. However, it's evident that they bit off more than they can chew and were crushed under the weight of their own ambitions. The game clearly isn't finished, and so many areas of the game are underutilized. Monte Golf is my favorite location on the map, and you only need to go in there once to retrieve the Fazcam, and you only have to walk through a small sliver of it to do so. And that's not to mention all the bugs and glitches. I applaud Steelwool for working hard and managing to pump out 2 huge patches for the game before their holiday break, but that doesn't forgive the state of the game at launch, or even its state now. I still can't enter L chips and the prize counter without the game glitching out, and it wasn't until their December 28th patch that I was actually able to play Princess Quest. The AI is nowhere near as good as it should be, making sections that should be tough easy, or making sections that should be easy way harder. I can't tell you how many times I would hide in a hiding spot, and then whenever animatronic was after me would just park themselves right outside the spot and not move. While the AI may need a lot of work, the characters certainly do not. Gregory, for as little we know about him, was a fun and capable protagonist who was given way more personality than horror protagonists usually are. Freddy came off as that stepdad who is trying his best, so you can never really get mad at him, and it made it a lot easier to trust the face that had been murdering us for what will be 8 years this August. Chica wasn't anything we hadn't seen before, but it worked since it resurfaced similar emotions and feelings that players had when confronted with past versions of the character, essentially the opposite of Freddy. Monty and Roxy had a tough task ahead of them as they replaced 2 fan favorites. While Monty is clearly referenced as the replacement for Bonnie, I feel like he more fits the replacement for Foxy. He's the hyper-aggressive member and the most outwardly terrifying one. And Roxy needs no further elaboration. She's the most interesting one and had way more layers than I expected. I hope we get more on this group of performers down the line, because there was a lot left unexplored. Yet another thing this game lacks. But when this game is running on all cylinders, it works to perfection. Phaser Blast, the endoskeletons, the daycare, the West Arcade, and the blind Roxy encounter are all incredibly effective and nail what they set out to do, and the rest of the game just doesn't live up to that. I know that Steelwool has said they are going to continue to work on it until all the bugs and glitches are handled, but I would have much preferred another delay. However, they get a bit more leniency than, say, CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077, because they're a much smaller studio that has never made a game even close to this scale before. And Vanny as an antagonist wasn't the best, especially since we essentially got 2 games of setup for her. I don't know how official this is, so don't quote me exactly, but I believe someone found code somewhere that Vanny is essentially supposed to act as Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, always somewhere in the mall looking for you, but something about it just doesn't work right now. Either that, or she's just supposed to appear wherever you are if you're in there for a certain amount of time, but either way it would be better than what we got. She appears like 3 or 4 times and that's it, and we don't even know who she is. Is she Vanessa? Is she Vanessa's clone sister? What is going on? Steelwool, tell us. I will gladly review this game again when all the patches are out and any planned DLC has been released to hopefully fill in some of the massive gaps in the story, but as it stands right now, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach gets a 5 out of 10. If you factor in the huge step up it is for the series and how impressive and inspirational it is that Scott Cawthon's last-ditch effort at game creation has led to one of his games getting a spotlight leading to the release of the PlayStation 5 and continue to be a big game in their lineup, it would be boosted to a 6. But this game could and should have been an easy 8 or 9. And after all this, I was hoping next week's episode would have a simple plot, but looking ahead, it's clear that's not the case. Why? Well, 'cause this is Final Fantasy! I hope to see you there.
Continue?
Gregory, Roxy's OnlyFans password is in her room somewhere. Find it, Gregory. You need it to escape, Gregory.